What is up? We are back.
We're
ready to
live.
get some shipped done. Let me get this backing theme going. So, real quick before we get started, I feel like everybody who is not you, Miral, or myself are just missing out because only you guys get to be aware of the dancing that happens during that countdown timer. In my little window, it's very often me rocking out to that intro music. But anyway,
A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
so we got something right off the bat that we wanted to dive into. We got a number of things that we're going to be covering, but I want to show you this before I forget. So I'm going to share my screen. Share this. Okay, so here on the Mac, up in the top right, is it in this one? Let's see. Oh, it may not work while I'm sharing my screen, actually. Like it may not do the thing that would let me show you how to do this. Let's see.
Is it a Mac system setting?
Yeah, so it's basically this same thing right here. Let me see. Why doesn't the camera option show up here? What does this one do? Camera. So, but it's this sort of thing here. There we go. It's right in here. Okay, perfect. So now that I'm sharing my screen, I've got the screen share portion up here. But if I wasn't sharing my screen, I'd have just the camera showing. And so for my camera right here, I can turn on this portrait setting. And so when I turn it off, it looks like this. I can't see myself. I don't know if it's applied yet. When I turn it on, it looks like this. Oh, and then I also like running the studio light because it also gives me a little bit more separation from my backdrop. It brightens my face and darkens my backdrop, which is that's what you want. Right. And then you can turn on the reactions. I never like to have that on. And then built in now, the Macs will do a background for you. So even if the system that you're using doesn't do the background, it can do it for you. So
Mac can do it for you. Really?
Yeah, the Mac can handle it for you. So anyway, that's how. Go ahead.
What is that system setting called?
I have no idea. It comes up by default. I'm pretty sure it's just the thing that comes up to show those settings. Let me.
I might not have it. I might be on an older version of Mac. I upgrade very slowly.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it might be a newer feature then that you don't have, but yeah, I have. I can look it up real quick. I don't know what it's called. Mac OS camera settings portrait. Let me just look for that, and it should help me find what the name of the thing is. Change portrait mode on a Mac. Nope, that's not what I want. Webcam settings, portrait.
While you're doing that, how do I get so many tabs open?
What's that?
How do I get so many tabs open?
Are you just asking like how it happens?
Yes, always.
I tend to have the same issue. Actually, here, while I'm thinking about it, I should probably close out some of these. Let me close that. There we go. I don't want to close this one that we're in right now, though. Let me close that. There we go. And then let me pull you up here. There we go. All right. And then let's bring all of our windows over here. Oh, apparently I had some lurking ones that were hidden.
So you're not sharing your screen now?
Correct. Yeah, I'm just getting rid of tabs at the moment. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so the thing was just called camera settings. I just threw that into I just threw that into the chat. It looks like you need to be on Sequoia to have that one. Maybe. I don't know. The settings at least talks about Sequoia. So does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll look up system settings, see if I got a camera anywhere.
So
I might.
and for me, it shows up in the menu bar, and that wasn't a thing that I had to turn on. It tends to look like the FaceTime logo, which is just a green background in the camera.
Yeah.
That's what it normally looks like. Sharing my screen, it turns to looking like a little person in front of a screen, and it looks blue, but it just shows up in my menu bar. Any hoozle.
Oh, look,
So
this might be it. I've got expressions. Yeah, I don't think I've got that yet on whichever version I'm running. I think it's called Leopard. I'm just kidding.
mine doesn't even have a name. It's just OSX. That's it.
I'm on Sonoma 14. What version are they on now? Am I way behind?
I think you're only one behind. I think they're on 15 right now. Yeah, Sequoia is the next one, and that's 15.
Gotcha. Fun. All right. Hey, one other weird question. Is there a way that I can list all my tabs like on the left side of the screen so I can like read them better?
Why, yes, there is. What browser are you using?
Brave.
Perfect. So that's the one that I use. I don't remember how I moved my tabs over to the left-hand side. Let me look that up. But there was a different browser that did that, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'd find that useful. Let's see, Brave tabs side. Let me see if I can find the answer. I don't remember how I found it in the past, so. Brave now features vertical tabs for desktop users, maximizing on-screen space. How do vertical tabs? Just tell me where to do it. Brave settings appearance. Here, go to this link, and it'll be in there. I'm going to throw this into the Hulu What's It, and anybody else that's watching. Here, look, let's do a thing. I'll throw a banner up, and there we go. This is where you go if you would also like to change your settings and throw your tabs over to the side.
Throw them to the side.
Like all the cool people do. So I'm noticing, Charlie, we have drastically less people watching right now than we did the other day. I was surprised. I'm surprised at how big of a difference doing this in the afternoon made. Like,
it's pretty amazing. You know, and it makes me think, you know, when me and Charlie Brooks first started doing these basically duo videos, we would always do them around, I think it was either 3 in the afternoon. And we had so many people because, you know, people, they want to be checked out by then. You know, like we're getting stuff done early. And so I'm cool with that. I mean, this actually gives me energy. You know, of course, we're doing this so that we actually get ship done.
Exactly.
But there's something too to be said about, you know, so I like these tabs on the side so that I can actually see what they are.
Yeah, that's useful.
I can read them.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, the point of this show is first and foremost to get done what we need to, and then secondarily to be able to share that journey with other people. So that's the secondary purpose. So if other people don't watch, really that isn't that big of a deal because we're more about us.
We're still creating content, and we're still getting shit done.
Indeed. Okay, so next thing, I wanted to finish the thought. So we've been talking about your new trial offer, and we'll go over that more in a second. But I at least want to, let's give a quick overview of just to catch anybody else who doesn't know what's the 30-second. What are you changing and why? What are you looking at changing? Those sorts of ideas.
Yeah, so what we're changing is that looking at changes in the 90-day trial, instead of running ads to your warm audience, we're taking the content and posting it on at least Facebook and Instagram. And maybe part of the trial could even be posting on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. So instead of running the content as ads to your warm audience, we're making sure that step one, it's getting posted. So when people look you up, they see that you're active. because
Right.
one of the issues that we've ran into is that like the system works, but if someone goes to look at your profile, they don't see you um, because we haven't been posting.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I call that passing the sniff test, and it's one of those foundational things that I do tell people makes sense to do. Right, like it's getting stuff onto your Facebook, on your Facebook page, on your Instagram or whatever. Any of those can help, even if you don't have audience. Not because they're necessarily going to convince somebody to work with you, but when somebody is considering working with you, like actively considering, they do often tend to check you out online. And it may not cost you the business if they come there and find nothing, but it's not the kind of impression you want them to have, right? Like what you want them to have is you want them to come and feel like, this is an active person who's actively, running their business, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, literally just having content posted, even if no one is seeing it in general, is valuable to pass that sniff test. So that when they go there and they go, does it smell right? They find something that gives them a good impression. So that makes sense to me as being a valuable thing in and of itself. My idea that I had for you, I know part of the reason why you're looking at shifting from this, like shifting what you're doing, there's a number of reasons. Part of it is, part of that you mentioned is that people don't inherently understand the value of it by itself. It takes comparatively the most amount of time for you to set up to actually get them ready to run ads through their own ad account and all of that. And so there's a lot of negatives. And while it's what they need, it's not the thing that they understand just because it's running, right? So like you need to give them the evidence. So anyway, part of what I was thinking is, like, my minor, like, I don't know, my concern in this is, part of what we're hoping for is we're hoping that you could run the trial and the trial naturally moves them to being a client, right? And not everybody's going to be a good fit, right? Like, so the same way that you have the realtor filter for the lenders, this is like the Rowiswis filter for you, right? And with just doing the posting, you change the dynamic from being, we run the trial and what you present is, do you want this to continue? And again, being part of what they continue with being that warm audience targeting, right? Moving to just doing the social posting, you kind of lose out on, they're not just continuing for the full extent of really what that they need, right? Like right. So I don't like for you that it loses out on that, because you're not getting that 90-day test and experiment of them seeing, oh, I see this working. I see, like, I'm starting to have people notice me more. I'm starting to have potentially inbound conversations happening. I like that idea. That may not all be completely real, but anyway, but you get that idea. And so part of what we talked about was the idea that you might be able to run ads through your own pages during the trial, so that really you get to have your cake and eat it too, right? Of you can keep it easy for you to set up. You could actually, because it doesn't matter a ton that you're running the ads through their page for it to have the effect, in my opinion. And so you could run the ads through your account during the trial. You could run the ads through your own controlled properties through the trial. And then being, honestly, it might even give you part of what you need, which is being able to show, here's what it looks like when you're just posting on your profile versus here's what it looks like when we actually get it out to the warm audience. And you can see that difference. You might even be able to contrast that. So you set them up for that next step, and you're able to say, hey, do you want this to continue? Do you want this part of this to continue? So, so you still get to keep that, like, the phrase that I've heard said, what you win them with, you win them to, right? So if that was part of the trial, you're not having to sell them on doing something that they haven't already been experiencing. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, those are the thoughts. That's what I was meaning in that comment that I had said, is that it keeps them, they've experienced part of what you ultimately know that they need to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 I like the idea of being able to run it from my own account to like get it up and going quickly.
Right.
I want to test this. I do think, I think they will actually get faster results with the posting.
Right.
Because they're going to see it quicker, and more of the people that pay attention to them are going to see it quicker.
Right.
Because,
right.
So that's, I'm not sure that that's the case. I think that will be the case. We'll have to find out.
Right.
But yeah, the biggest thing is I want lenders to be able to get their realtors. Like, the question is, how do I get them value as quickly as possible?
Right.
And that's not through the ads, for two reasons. One, they probably don't understand how valuable it is to actually get those eyeballs. Like, for $3 a day to actually get 100 to 500 eyeballs a day is of people that know you. Like, it's pretty exponential.
Right.
And Frank Kern, he talks about this. Like, you solve a problem and it opens up the next problem.
Right.
And I've reversed that.
Right.
I've solved the problem and they didn't even realize they had it. And so the value is not even there.
Right. Right.
And then the other thing is, it really is so hard to get set up for some people. Like, some people it takes weeks. Some people I'm not able to ever get them started, but I can always get them started with posting. Because Facebook will always let you post to a business page. So I've lost a number of clients because their ad, so I like this being the foundation, just so that the clients can know I can serve you. So that works. And then the other thing with lenders, it takes them a long time to get their realtors onboarded because it takes me to personally onboard them.
Right.
I just don't think that running the ads should be part of the free trial, at least under their ad account. Truthfully, like, if I'm not going to be the bottleneck, I need to find a really good expert to onboard people.
Right.
It's a $200, $250 minimum setup fee, really, and that's pretty dang cheap.
And honestly, it could be one of those things that, I kind of like the idea of having your packages, having your features. Oh man, so there's potentially a really interesting angle here where what if you had your service be that the default standard is that all the ads are ran through your account, that's meaning that's the baseline, and then but you encourage and offer and recommend that they run them through theirs, right? But you have a way. Does that make sense? Where it's this is the standard, but the upgrade is through your own account, and you encourage it, and it's not like a massive expense. The goal is to get everybody doing that, but that way you don't have to.
So that's what I initially did. The issue with that is if Facebook shuts me down, we're shut down.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying with that's what I'm saying where I think you keep the posting on their page because that part's easy, right? You have easy methods for doing that. So they're seeing value come through their own page, right? And then you run the ad portion of your posting through your own stuff as the default. I mean, default may not be the right answer. It like where the idea is, this is how we get them started, and through this we then leverage it to get them set up, to get them onto their own. And it's like they see the value, and we're like, hey, we're getting great results with this, but man, you know what would make it even better? If it was coming from your own page, if it was coming from your own ad account. You ready to do that? Because we could get you set up. Here's what the cost is to upgrade you to that service. I don't know. Does that make sense? That way, like.
Yes, and like I just don't think that getting that set up needs to be done for free with a free trial.
Oh, I don't think so either. I think you're
either way.
Anything. I think out of what you're describing, I don't think it ever needs to be done for free. I mean, like that's part of what you've experienced. Like your whole method around this has been, how can I do what would normally take a $2,000 a month team, a $5,000 a month team. I don't know where you mentally price it.
Yeah,
I would probably lean more toward the 5,000. But how can I do that at drastically better price points because you're using your superpower of coding and building software to do it, right? Like, and what you've ran into is like this ad account problem. No matter how much you go after it, no matter how much you try, like it does not seem to be solvable with software. It is just this thing takes brute force, it's gonna suck kind of work. And that typically means you need a person to do it, right? And no matter what, if you've got to pay for man hours to make something happen, it's not scalable without also having cost be part of it. So so it makes sense to me that like figuring out how to make that not part of your initial stuff, so that in this trial zone you start getting them results, you show them things work, and then now you have a path to say, hey, let's take it the next step. You don't need to make a ton of money off of getting them onto their own account, but you at least need it to be break even. You at least need it to justify the man hours on your team to take that time, right? And be able to pay somebody who's excited to get paid. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I imagine, $250, $500 setup fee. You can find somebody who's really smart, who's really good with people, that would be really excited to do as many of those as they could get, because it doesn't take hours and hours and hours. It takes like, normally I'd probably say like an hour or two. For somebody who knows what they're doing. And then maybe occasionally a few of them take longer because their credit card's not working, or like you run into an issue or roadblock or whatnot. But anyway. Does that sound right?
Yeah, 100%. Some people, you can get done in 30 minutes because they've got everything structured. Some people, most people an hour to two. I kind of block out an hour and a half. I've tried to do an hour, and it really takes an hour and a half. And then some people, like, it takes 4 weeks. And so my insight is, because I really want my lenders to be able to just onboard their realtors and go. And not wait for me, let them start seeing the results. But yeah, I think you're right. And then, again, I keep coming back to very few, maybe 5 of my clients understood the value of the ads up front. And I've worked with a lot of people. And so I think there's something to be said of letting that solve the problem they think they have. Which, it is a problem. Like you need to be visible on social media with personal stuff, not Tennessee Titans schedule, and TikTok dances, but then that reveals, I hope, we'll see. I think it will. One of the things that I realized is I've really, they say start with the end in mind. Like
Right.
I've really done that. Like I have solved this whole dang thing.
Right. Right.
And so now it's going to the very front and going that way. And I may even, one of the things when I was with Craig Proctor, one of the things they did really well was I signed up for their regular coaching. And then about 30 days in, they gave me like 30 to 60 days of their platinum coaching and invited me to the platinum event. And I signed up. I was like, I want this higher exclusive access. So, I might end up doing that, especially with what you recommended. Like run this for 30 days or 45 days and have me give you, access to, we're going to run these ads on our account.
And still have them pay for it. Still have them pay the ad cost. I think that's fine. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that solves a lot of problems for you. And I don't know how to describe this. Me knowing what this process looks like, I feel a weight off of my shoulders for you. Does that make sense? Just thinking through that will be drastically easier to onboard people, right? Because getting the ad account set up is a pain in the butt. And it's literally the only way to do it half the time is you book one-on-one time with a person and you sit down and you knock it out. And sometimes you feel like an idiot half the time in the process because the thing that worked every other time doesn't work this time. And yeah, anyway, being able to do that after having gotten them some level of results, some level of success, some level of experience, I think that makes tons of sense because you bought some goodwill, right? By saying we're having a good experience, you're seeing good results. Yeah, I like that. I like that for you. That makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, and it gives me a lot more room. One, I might be able to have a really inexpensive version that just posts 3 times a week for them.
Right.
I really want this. I want clients for life. And it could, it gives me upsell opportunities. Now I can post to their Google business page, or I can partner with someone that optimizes Google business pages. I don't want to do that myself, but through I can find someone that's really good at that.
Right.
In fact, that's probably who we need to find next.
That's what we should get to the BNI group, huh?
Yeah, someone that optimizes those profiles.
I got somebody that we could reach out to for that, by the way.
Okay.
That's their whole business model. They do that and they do posting to them. But yeah.
Yeah. What would they be in conflict with my posting, do you think?
I don't think so. Most so the way that the posting for Google business profiles works, you mainly just it's just another distribution channel. Typically, they're leveraging the same content that you'd use somewhere else. But it's for different purposes. It's for different reasons.
Gotcha.
And the frequency is different. I don't think it would conflict. And the point of it is less about I don't know how to describe it. There's very specific strategy for the Google business profiles. And from what I understand, it actually has more to do with it just being somewhat relevant to that profile, and Google likes seeing the activity on that page, right? So
Gotcha.
It's one of those signals that lets them know this is actually an active business. So it makes you more likely to show up in the search and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I got at least one person I could invite, and there might be some more too.
Yeah.
Actually, I help somebody think through and optimize their business around this a little bit in terms of
nice.
How they're doing this well. So anyway, yeah.
And so the other really cool thing to me about this is I'm diving into my operations is my CRM has APIs for all these postings.
Right.
And so I'm actually using that to do all the postings.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I need to actually get in and play with high level. Like everybody's freaking using it. I'm just so resistant to.
So you want to hear this cool idea? Like, I mean, what I've realized.
Right.
So I can set all my clients up on high level. I mean, really, they get a CRM for free. Like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
I actually built the contact sync, so they never have to input data.
Right.
It automatically creates their custom audiences.
Love it.
We can post and like use my system to post through it, and they can actually see all their stats.
Right.
And then the other cool thing is through high level, we can also connect their ad account.
Right.
It's like $30 a month and $10 a month. This is the other reason that I want that to be an add-on. So now, like, they can see everything, and I can still use the API to make it pretty. You know, so like it's like I'm a plug, and they get a calendar. Like, it just, I'm really excited. Like, kind of viewing it as a plug-in for that.
Right.
So I'm excited about this way. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
Know? Give them what they want. Let them see the next thing. I mean, and a lot of my clients, they spend $200 to $300 a month just on a CRM.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm just realizing I need to add to my list. I mentioned potentially connecting you to that opportunity to speak, and I still need to do that. Meryl, are you here? Are you listening? I believe you are. Yes, awesome. Can you add to my task list a couple of things? So part of this we'll cover in a second. So one of them, I did a bunch of calls yesterday, and maybe even over the past couple of days. We need to add a process that after the calls that we need to extract the action items that I need to do and that you could help me do. So we need to add a process for that. I'll show you what that would look like. Actually, we could probably do that on this call. But one of the things specifically, I need to connect Charlie to Drew and Dave. Can you just add that to my list of something to do for the AI speaking opportunity? And you can see if you want to do that or not. I won't be offended if you don't. Just like always, things are humbly offered rather than I don't expect anything. And then I feel like there was something else too. I lost it. Either way, but yeah, we need to go through. We need to go through my past calls this past day or so. I have a few people I need to connect with that I know if I don't have Meryl, if I don't have you going into those calls and reminding me of those things that need to be accomplished, I will never get them done, because once the meeting's done, I stop thinking about whatever was on that meeting. Anyway, I forget why I went down that track. So this is why, yeah. This is where my brain was going. So one, I need to get set up as a client in your stuff and start using some of this stuff in this way. Like that's something that we should honestly probably do on one of these Get Shipped Done shows, is set me up as a client and start doing it that way. We've tried a number of times to start down that path. I really believe in what you're doing. You and I are two basket cases over here that can't get anything done unless we're meeting. We haven't met about that. So anyway, so yeah, we should do that. That made me think of just the other part of like what I really love the idea of figuring out wherever possible, how can what I'm doing naturally be helping you and the other people that are in our BNI group and bringing together the right people so that we're really building out that power team concept, right? And keep this in the back of your mind. I just talked to Print Genie yesterday, and their stuff integrates really well, and they have a lot of automations for Go High Level as well.
Nice.
it's possible that it could be, I don't know if it fits for that or not. It's possible that it could be an upsell that you could do with referrals while you sleep. It may not make sense. I don't know. It may be out of alignment with what you're about, but I don't know. It might really be in alignment too if we set it up right. But part of the opportunity is that those guys are connected up with Old Republic and a couple other title companies, and those title companies are trying to compete with, I forget if it's with Fidelity. They might be part of Fidelity. I don't remember. But anyway, they're trying to compete with other title companies.
Right.
And so like they're very open. The title companies are very open to how can we leverage our access to some of these tools as a way to try and carve out market share. And I know you're not going after the real estate agent, so I need to think through what it looks like to connect up. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I am completely in alignment with the going after the lenders. More than anything, I'm trying to figure out how to leverage my opportunities in front of me to still help you. And so I want to connect that dot. But anyway.
So, one thing I was thinking with this new, this is why we need to get you connected on, maybe we can do that Friday or next week, just onboard you through this system. But one of the things I thought is like with your whole webinar system, I bet we could build out the automation so that your people could just straight up be plugged in. Like they can pay you to set it up and you can push a button and it's set up.
Cool. Yeah, we should totally do that.
Yeah. Because that's what it's built for, right?
Right. Yeah. So I can build out the landing pages. I can build out the email sequences to be able to drop the stuff in and all of the promotion around it. Yeah. And I mean, like, honestly, that makes sense. That would make a lot of
calendar, automations, registration.
Right. And then for you, like I don't know where it fits in the priorities, but I still see a lot of opportunity for you around like how some of these different mid-ticket offers potentially find the right people for you as well. I think for you, doing a mid-ticket offer around doing the duo videos specifically could be a really good one. Where like what are the key problems that people have with that, and positioning it as like, hey, if you've struggled to create content, here's the easiest way to do it. And like part of what you do with the mid-ticket offer is give them access to your duo video calls for a month or two, so that they have an easy place to come in and have partners to create content with. I don't know. I need to think through how that's structured, but I really, I think that there's. I need to think through how the whole mid-ticket offer concept, the course development concept, all of that, how that fits into like what I potentially do with the SaaS companies too, right? Like, because
have you ever heard of the book Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley?
I haven't. Muriel, can you add
check
that
it out.
to our Amazon list?
I can send it to you. You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, indeed.
So it's Zach Hansen's thing. Like, when you create a promotion, you purposely have less capacity than you do demand. And he actually said, if you've got 10 slots, you want 50 people that have put down $1 at least to be on your wait list.
Right.
If you've got 10 openings, you want at least 100 people that are just on your wait list with no money.
Right.
And he's built his businesses around being oversubscribed. I've never thought about it before, but the reason, I tell people I'm not necessarily the best negotiator, but I'm a damn good marketer and offer maker,
Right.
And Like when I list the house, I tell all my clients, my goal is that we want 2 buyers that really want this,
Right.
because then whoever really wants it is going to pay the most. Let them bid
Right.
against themselves. And in oversubscribed, I mean, that's the whole idea. Like if you've got, 2 people that want one thing, and he tells it, then like that's what you want. And
Right.
that's what Zach does. And I mean, that is the purpose of the realtor waiting list. I've just been trying to figure out, how do you do it,
Right.
and then how do you have the cojones to actually tell people, no, wait, I'm not open for business yet, but get on my wait list.
Right.
All right, I've never thought about this before. The question is, how many slots do you open up? Well, he told us, if you've got 10 people that have put in, $1 to be on your wait list, you open it up to, that's not a good idea. 50. If you got 50, then you open up 10 slots. Yeah, if you got 10 people that put in $1 to be on your wait list, you open up 2 slots.
Right.
If you've just got 100 people on your list that have like said, I want to be on your waiting list, they haven't put any money down, it's 10 to 1. So I've never thought of that before. How do you decide how many you open up? 5 to 1 if they put in money, 10 to 1 if they haven't, but they've opted in.
Right. Right.
That's pretty cool. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the principle that I'm hearing is, if you set up a wait list, you only open up 1 slot for every 10 people that indicate that they're interested if they haven't put money down. If you have them lock in the spot with $1, then it's 5 to 1.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
And that's, I may have some of the details wrong, but that's directionally correct.
That makes sense.
I was listening to it on my flight back from San Diego and was falling asleep while I was listening to it. But that's a general premise. That's how. Because I mean, that's been our question, right? How many slots do I open up? Oh, this is how many.
Yeah, that's a good call. Like, and then like strategically on any of these things, really, what you do is instead of saying, hey, how to describe this? Like maybe the way that you word it is like, hey, I'm seeing how much capacity I have, but if you want to, like, if you're interested in this and you think you want to move forward, here's the link to get on the wait list. And so that way you don't have, because I'm always looking, how do I do this to be in
alignment,
be in alignment, be in integrity. Yeah. I want, like, my capacity in this case is 1/10 of whatever the wait list is, right? Like that's what the capacity is. So that gives you the ability to figure that number. And like over time, really, this is like a 0 to 1 question, if that makes sense. That it's more about the how do you get started. I feel like once you get a flow on this sort of thing, then you start to have a bit more,
you'll know your numbers.
Yeah. And you could say, hey, like, based on this number of people who bought the course, or based on this number of people who opted in for the webinar, this is what I should be setting my capacity at. But like when you're getting started and you don't know, that's how you do it. Yeah, that makes sense. Walk me through what brought that up. I know we were talking about like how I potentially use the mid-ticket offer stuff with SaaS companies, but
so mid-ticket offer, that's what from the get-go, my goal has been, Dean Jackson, he did this, and he's the one that told me do the 90-day free trial.
Right.
In fact, with his 90-day free trial, what he did, his was, I think, $200 a month, and there was a $1,500 setup fee.
Right.
That was not due until after the 90 days when they got the result. So,
okay, right.
Like that's pretty cool. And he's got a big waiting list, and he would do it once a month. And so every month he would onboard 30 new people. And at
Right.
any time, he had, 30 people leaving, 30 people joining.
Right.
And I've been like, yeah, and he did it live the first 2 times, and then after that, it felt live, like he dripped out the content through
Right.
week by week, and he had like a 1 or 2 calls a week that was live. But it was pretty automated, he had the system set up. And he even said, he had some people like they didn't get results from the first 90 days. So, I mean, he just let them roll over into the next cohort, like
Right.
that's fine. And,
Right.
but that's when I'm like, how in the world do you do that? One, he's got a big list.
Right. Right.
But when you mentioned mid-ticket, so like I've always had that thought. I mean, that was even the realtor waiting list. How do we build a realtor waiting list? And
Right.
the problem up until now for me was ad account onboarding. So now
Right.
I actually believe I can set this up where the lender can probably hop on a Zoom call and connect the realtor's accounts, because there's a lot of realtors that are not technical.
Right.
And
Yeah, that makes sense.
or the realtor can do it themselves,
Right.
or I can do it in 10 minutes. Like this will be really easy,
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
and so now I can actually do it. Now we can actually build demand. And I just read oversubscribed and right. I mean, so the mid-ticket offer, I mean, that is what Zach Hansen does. Every month he's got a launch, and he makes sure that he's oversubscribed.
Right. Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think for you, like there's a number of aspects of your process that are pretty readily derivatives, to be able to spin off and turn into their own products that are useful for the rest of your audience, right? So
Yeah.
How to do the duo videos well is a good one. And I'm trying to think, because like part of what I like for you as well is how can you lean in on the mid tickets, that when you solve that problem for them, it creates the demand for the rest of what you do too. Because like for you, if you get somebody creating content and give them an idea of what to do with it, it creates the demand for like, oh, well, wouldn't it be nice if instead of you having to think about this and do all this, you just work with us and this process is happening for you automatically, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
And then,
and and that's the goal for the lenders. Like, I really want the lenders to be able to top grade.
Right.
Like I think, to be able to say, look, I'm at my limit. Like I have to, literally, I have to figure out a way to have more capacity because I serve my clients.
Right. Right.
And I love my health and my family. Like that's a powerful positioning, it reminds me, I've had some real estate deals where the person was just trying to hammer money off. And I was like, we got someone else willing to pay more. You won this. Do you want it or not?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, man, it gives you so much more confidence in any of these things, that anyone who's selling anything, what you really want is you want multiple people who want to buy it. Like that.
Right.
That is where you are, and it's better to have more people wanting it than could get in, right? Because honestly, it's one of those interesting like win-win scenarios for everyone, I think, or at least it can be, because then when the people buy in, they are also more like, oh shoot, if I don't keep doing this, if I drop out, I may not be able to get back in anytime soon, right? And like they really feel that.
Yeah.
And so they also value the process more. They put more into the process and therefore do actually get more of the result, right? So like it's also helpful for them. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it gets them to have buy-in.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, so what are your next steps on the trial offer? What do you need to get done for it?
So I'm going through my SaaS Academy, looking at kind of just seeing if I need to change any pricing, taking the time to think through that.
Right.
How do I, what's my opportunity? And then yesterday I was finally jumping into the AI coding,
Right.
and I was. It's pretty fun. It's pretty amazing. I built
Right.
like I built this tool that like put all my Claude things into its own SQLite, and then I used
Right.
Open Router with a free API to tag them and put them into folders. And then yesterday I built a Puppeteer. So I've got this enterprise Zoom account
Right.
through one of my coaching companies, and they're sunsetting it. So I've got 1,652 Zoom transcripts that I have to get.
Right.
And so with AI, I built a Puppeteer script that went through and like got a list of all my recordings, and then went through and downloaded the transcript of every single one.
Nice.
And so I'm finally kind of figuring that out. I tried to use RuCode and saw the issues with that.
Right.
So be able to program so that like the onboarding actually can be done by them now. Hallelujah.
Right.
That's number one. Two, work on pricing. And three, I think it's time to probably after that or around now, like hire a new programmer.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And I'm actually looking at the programmer. I'm looking at possibly offering some kind of like small equity, to possibly get to do with that. And then the big thing is, I want someone that's really excited to work with me, someone that's experienced, and someone that really, the idea is with AI doing the grunt coding, you can work on bigger problems.
Right.
And, I love what Dan Martell, that video I sent. I want someone that is going to tell me how they're going to do the job. I've never thought about that in my life. Have you ever heard that before?
The only time that I heard that was I heard when I got the marketing director position. I went through Ramit Sethi's stuff. That's what he advised that you do as a candidate in order to get the job is when you come in for your interview or in that process, part of what you do is you present your plan and really like part of the offer is like the takeaway where it's like you make this very powerful report that says, hey, here's the plan of action, and they typically like literally have like a physical thing. They ask if they can have it, and you say, oh, absolutely, once you hire me, this is yours.
Yeah.
Right? And so they don't get the plan unless they hire you anyway. But so that's the only time that I've heard that I've heard somebody doing something similar. It's on the other end of trying to get hired, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. Fine. Yeah, that was just a big insight. Yeah, I mean, I love it. Dan Martell's, I love you, Alex Hormozy, but Dan Martell's replaced you for my life strategy.
Well, I think it's like I don't know. It makes me think of like makes me think like the typical sort of progression that happens in most movies or most stories. It's like most of the time there's sort of this transition of mentors, right? Like a mentor will teach you what they know and get you so far, and then you need a new mentor in order to take you somewhere different, right? So like in Star Wars, you have Obi-Wan being Luke's first mentor and taking him toward his beginning steps, but then he ultimately has to seek out Yoda, right? And then
Right.
or in other storylines, you have like like it makes me think like Karate Kid and like the different people that Daniel LaRusso learns from in that process. It starts with Mr. Miyagi, but in like Cobra Kai in the show, he actually has to learn new techniques from new people and new ways to think about how we can progress. Anyway, when we think about mentors, I think it's kind of that same thing. It's not that what they give you wasn't valuable, but it's like at some point you learn the core ideas that you can from somebody, and then in order to keep progressing forward, you almost need like a new way to think about it and something that gets you to that next level. So anyway, where you are right now, it makes sense that that kind of you're in the path of being the disciple of a new mentor. So
yeah. So those are the things: pricing, coding, hiring a developer.
Makes sense.
And
what are your next steps to get to move those forward? Like what could you accomplish to move those forward?
So I'm talking to AI right now about pricing.
Okay.
I'm taking time like this to work on the developing.
How do you know when you're done with the pricing?
It's just going to feel
done meaning like you have it done for now. Does that make sense? Because you're probably never done.
Yeah.
But like, how do you know that you're done in this phase, in this iteration?
It's just going to feel good.
That makes sense.
I'm just looking at, are there any other ways to look at it? I really don't have to change my pricing, in a lot of ways. I might just maybe the only thing that I'm gonna switch is we're gonna post instead of run ads, thinking about
it.
But I figure this is a really good time to think through this.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have found whenever I can that's part of my mix of what really helps me to be able to meaningfully move forward is to try and be able to define when I'm done. Because otherwise I'll do it indefinitely, and sometimes that's okay, but when I do take the time to think through where am I heading toward and how do I know when I've got there, I don't know, that at least gives me more clarity to be able to be able to like take the right level of action. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
What about you?
I actually am hosting a webinar thing in about a half hour, so I need to do something pretty quick. I'm going to be teaching Alejandro Reyes, right? Am I remembering his last name? That may not be his last name. Let me double check. His name is Alejandro. I may not be remembering his last name correctly. I've met. Yeah, it is Reyes. Yep. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, let me. I need to check into this real quick. What is he talking about? Okay, perfect. Anyway, what I was going to say though, let me run through real quick I just got feedback on the slides that I'm going to be presenting on, so I had to make sure I understood that. I do understand it now, and but let me run through this process. So Muriel, are you on? Are you paying attention? If so, say skibbity doo, because I'm about to be training you. Perfect. You said yes, not skibbity doo. You should be saying skibbity doo. Anyway, okay. Let me see. That's okay. I'm just being silly. Okay, so here's what I would do. It's possible that literally in Crisp, this stuff is covered in here. So I did this speed networking yesterday. Let's see. These might all be from the same thing. So let's double check. This is with Adam. I wanted to suddenly schedule. Okay, so you can see here, Crisp is actually doing this pretty decently already, where it's extracting action items out of it. So like this one, I need to schedule a follow-up with Adam Gonzalez. So I need to do that. I need to actually go in and do that. So like, Muriel, this would be something that we should add to my task list to get done. In here, let's see, is there a way? Yeah, so this says right here, if I click this, it'll actually take me to the portion where this is being talked about. I'm not recording the audio for these. So, okay, so I'm just recording the transcript, but you'd at least be able to read around it and see what the context is of that. But that would be something that I need to do. So let's go back and let's look at meeting with Andy. And let me close that. And let's see. So I got to assign a speaker. So that speaker 1, speaker 2, like you might need to do this real quick too. So this is Andy, and what's Andy's last name? Detweiler. Okay, so now we could summarize it, and then once it's summarized, we should be able to get the action items out of it. But essentially, that's what I need you to do for me, Muriel, is to go through these and try and proactively help me make sure that any of the action items that need to be happening, that we're doing them, right? So you will most likely need to like this one actually isn't great in terms of all of the action items. You might ask something like, what things does Zach specifically need to do as a result of this call? So I'm using the AI chat here in Crisp for that. Yeah, so like this is more likely the kind of things that I need to do. Like maybe what our process should look like, Muriel, is, if there isn't like a clear, like Zach specifically said that he was going to do this, or like if there wasn't a clear exact next step, then maybe it's like when we're doing our stuff, that we need to review this. Like you throw this into a task in lean time with these notes, and then that's one of the things that we follow up on. So I could just clarify, is this what needs to happen? And we could either mark it as done, or we can push it forward. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. Perfect. So yeah. So thinking through this, we're probably not going to be able to rely on the action items that Chris comes up with being perfect. If it does say something that is a pretty clear action item, like for me, then it makes sense to add it. If you don't see any action items, I would go into this AI chat in Crisp and ask this question: what things does Zach specifically need to do as a result of this call? And we'll work on that and see how that looks. And like key things that I'm looking for are, were there any promises that I made? Were there any expectations as a result of the call? And then we make sure that we track those and move forward on them. Does that make sense? And then, so our key steps as a result of that, if there's any clear and simple things like book a follow-up or make this referral to this person or those sorts of things, like those could be added as an individual task into lean time for me to do that you help me make sure we get accomplished. And wherever possible, if you can accomplish it for me, then you should. So you might proactively see if you could find that information, track it down, and then that way, and then you present that to me and say, here's what I think we need to do for this. Is that right? And then I just say yes, and we move forward. So that would be the ideal, is wherever and however you can, you proactively try and solve these things for me. But wherever you're like, I don't know how we'd solve it, then that's where you and I come together and we solve them. So that's how that would work, Muriel. And when in doubt, at least create like a next steps as a result of call with, Andy Detweiler from Print Genie on May 6th. And like, that's in our list of, we need to go through and assess that just to make sure that we're moving things forward. So like for this one, put together business plan, create strategy, email, develop proposal. The key next step is preparing the business plan. Yeah, so I mean this. Yeah, so like, and I would agree. I'd say like my next step on this, and this is what we could add to lean time for this, is my next step is to come up with my plan for Print Genie so that I can present them something by Monday. Which means that's probably something I should be accomplishing on one of these get shipped done calls, for instance. So that's that. And then I know. So like, let's do a couple more. So here's my call with Ray. So discuss topic. I'm not sure what that part is about, but say what expectations or next steps does Zach need to do as a result of this call? And so you're not going to be able to just like read this and copy and paste it into something. You kind of need to read through it and understand what it's saying to determine, is it like a general idea? So like this, continue conducting one-on-ones, because I knew what this was going to come back with. Like this, continue conducting one-on-ones. That's not like a task that I need to do. That's not a clear and specific task. It's a principle, a strategy that needed to be running. It's not something that we would like add to lean time as a task that needs to be accomplished. Log one-on-one meeting in BNI system. I think I already did that, but if not, that's something that you need to do, Muriel. Implement Ray's referral strategy. Again, that's not like a specific task. That's more of a principle. Apply the webinar strategy insights discussed. Maintain the connection with Ray through BNI Connect as confirmed. Yeah, so I think from this, logging the one-to-one was the key outcome. Now let's go through. I think I had a referral for Julie that I needed to make. Let's see if it showed up in here. Yep. Okay. So let's look at this. So for Julie specifically, I need to make a connection to Jeff Bernheisel, and then I think there was somebody else that I needed to make a connection to, but I don't remember. Oh, and I need to schedule another one-on-one with her. So those are at least those two things. Share his calendar, book follow-up meeting. Consider potential referrals. Yeah, so I have one clear referral to send, and I've got one and I've got to get the meeting booked with her. So that's the outcome of this one. I'm just showing this process, Meryl, so that you kind of see like what I'm doing to run through it. There wasn't Sandra there. All right, so for these, like, you might need to, check those. This one, I don't need to check out their new website. But for, I don't remember if I thought of a specific follow up for Uzma or not. She had an interesting business model, by the way. She called herself a marketing investor. What she does is no upfront costs. She will come in and essentially build out funnels and emails and all of that for the back end, right? For the growth that she generates. I thought that was pretty cool.
So she gets paid a percentage of the growth?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Okay, and then this one, what was her name? Where the names of the speakers? Try to think through what exactly this is going to look like. Lindsay. Okay, so her name was Lindsay. So I need to send Lindsay a referral, I believe. Yeah. So that would be the result of this one. You might need to on these, like in order to do this right, it might require going and setting their names. But yeah, okay. So there's that, and then for the speed networking in particular, let me stop my share for a second. I'm gonna get an email pulled up. Okay, so hopefully it's okay for me to share this. Or did I stop my screen share? Share screen. So Muriel, you have access to my email. Since I attended the speed networking thing, I get access to this list. So in here, we should be able to find the names of people that like I potentially was talking to. So this is who I was talking to. So this Lindsay, again, Crisp is not necessarily gonna get the names and the spellings right and all that. So note that. I don't know what do you think about how you would leverage this, Charlie? Like, so I spoke directly to 3 people on that. One of them was a person that I could make a referral to. They were in manufacturing. They're in manufacturing, and like they primarily work with food companies. So that was this person. And I have a potential referral to send them. I don't know how I'd leverage it for myself outside of that. But anyway, so there's that. I spoke to Uzma here. Uzma was the one who had the marketing investor angle. That was her. And then the last one was Soleil. who was HR and compliance. I would have spoken to more people if I'd stayed on longer, but I was only able to stay on for a half hour. But anyway, so I spoke to those people. There's contact information from the saved chat for lots of others. I don't know. I attended just to see, but how would you leverage this? Knowing for me, like how do I think through this?
What would I do? Well, I guess is there anyone here that could be a potential referral partner for you?
Right.
I guess you could do that. And then have a system to reach out to them or visit their BNI,
Right.
Other than that, I don't know right now.
That makes sense. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so yesterday was the 6th. Was this? Let's see. Is this that one? Okay. So here. So let me throw these into here. Please give me a table that includes the name, business, industry, and all contact details of the people who shared in this chat. Give it to me as an artifact. So this would be something I would need to send to you, Muriel, would just be the chat, the saved chat. And then from this, we might be able to assess if there's anybody in the list that is like somebody to target, to reach out to connect with. And it's potentially worthwhile. Like, is it worthwhile for me to do the BNI Connect thing with anybody that I actually spoke with?
I don't know. You could try it. See, my guess is it'd probably be better to connect with them on social.
Does it help or hurt anything in BNI to add those connections? Like, I don't, like on LinkedIn, I pretty much connect with just about anybody that remotely makes sense, because it also expands your overall, second connection sort of thing.
I don't know. That's new. It's something that, when I was part of, like I never did much with, part of it was, when I was in BNI, we didn't have the online stuff, so you couldn't connect with people as much.
Right. Business services. Costa Mesa. These guys are near San Diego. I don't know. They might know some software people. Processing. Okay, so this is the list of people on here. What stands out to you as like who would make sense for me to potentially try and connect with?
Let's see. So bookkeepers, business coach, maybe.
Right.
Maybe a merchant service.
Right.
Maybe remote staffing.
Right. Oh, that's Regis Remote Office Solutions.
Yeah, I was talking about the one right below.
Oh, yeah. That's the remote staffing. Yep. Technology consultant. Interesting.
Yeah, possibly. That Zach Hammer guy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He might be worthwhile to talk to.
I think
Copywriter.
payment. Yeah.
This guy's name.
The CFO person
Where do you see that one?
down there, Michelle Lauren.
Fractional CFO. Yeah, there you go.
I was looking at the old Pumpkin Plan book again the other day, and I mean, this is just right in line with that.
Right. How so?
He said, his niche when he did managed IT was he realized his best clients were hedge funds. And he asked them, what do you, and so he asked who else are your vendors? And so he interviewed their vendors. And like one of the biggest problems that vendors had was other companies would come in and like unplug everything and not plug it back up.
Right.
So they were stepping over each other. And so like he made sure like not to do that. And he built really good relationships with the vendors that served his clients because they served other hedge funds. And so he built this great niche of it was managed, it was just managed IT services. But his niche was the hedge funds by going for, power partners, really.
Right.
And so kind of focusing, cutting the bad ones, like just honing in on, like one of the things that I've just, with the clarity of, course referrals while you sleep could work for anyone. And the deeper that I serve the lenders, the more no one else can touch me. Like it's just so there. And, but yeah, I mean, what we're doing is the Pumpkin Plan.
Yeah, I wonder. Like right now, for me, I feel like I almost need like I need to define what the process looks like. So I go from that. Maybe my messaging looks something like, hey, we didn't get to connect, but we didn't get to connect at the speed networking, but I'd love to connect for one-to-one to see if I could send you any business. I tend to I don't know, how do I phrase that? Because like part of what's different is these are people who aren't in our chapter, and so like there's always sort of I feel like to honor the chapter, there's always got to be a secondary sort of thing, right? Like if I could send the business to the person in my chapter, I feel like I kind of need to honor that. But I don't know. Really, ideally, I want to find the person in my chapter who would be the ideal fit, right? Like that's
you're right. Yeah, but I mean, we don't have any fractional people. You work with SaaS companies. I mean, we are like, I mean, I like, I'd be like, I wonder if, I could refer any of my clients to you. I don't know.
Right.
We might be good power partners. I'm not sure. I work well with, or even could be like, it'd be good to check out the Pumpkin Plan, see what Mike Michalowicz said when he went and worked with the other vendors, like how he approached that.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
And I would just do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that's really the first question is, what do the numbers look like? Because I only have so many time slots each week. I only have so many meetings each week available. And so I need to figure out how many people do I need to reach out to leverage that time, and then who are the right people to have those conversations with. I don't need to figure that out in advance, but those are questions that I'm looking to answer in the process of doing this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I got to hop, so I get to this next
Me
thing.
too.
That's
All right,
my
cool.
time.
Bye.
Bye.